This is a really good warm-up to do when you are first picking up the chanter and your hands are cold. What you're going to do is we're going to go up the scale with G grace notes. This is the G grace note, the top hand grace note. It's your primary grace note. Usually lands on the downbeat. So you want to make your G grace note really big, and by big I mean way off the chanter, lifting it way off the chanter. I'm making a G grace note on the tonic right now, the A. The exercise starts from low G, so we're going to go from G to A with a G grace note. We're going to accent that transition. We're going to open the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note. Again, that's from G to A, open the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note, and do a tap. Just tap on the low G, like this. So you can see that again. Anshobo, anshobo, remember? Open the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note, and tap. We're going to do that 4 times. We're going to do it 4 times from every note, and that's the exercise. So low G. You saw I just made the transition from C to A. That's the third. You want to open the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note, tap. Go back to the note, open the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note, tap. Go to the next note. You see how all my hands are in the air momentarily? I think that's really important to having clean technique. So going from A to the 5th, you open and then put the pinky down for the great hand position. And then for the grace note, you lift the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note, tap. Start from D, open the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note, tap. Go back to the note, open the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note, tap. And then coming back to the D, you can see how my hands are in the air at the same time. Now, E is really easy. You just open one finger. And then to make the grace note, you lift the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note, tap. This is part of the exercise. Lift the E, open the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note, tap. Go back to E, open the grace note, make the switch, close the grace note, tap. That's E to A. Anshobo, anshobo. Now F, you have to lift these 2 fingers together, the 2 top fingers, and then you open the grace note, and you put them down together. Rather than have your fingers cross like this, what you're going to do is you're going to go to F, open the grace note, and just put them down together. That's because it's much easier to do that than to think about going to F and then making a switch and closing the grace note. You don't actually want to make any kind of cross like that for this movement. You want to open the grace note, put the hands down together, tap. G, you don't have a grace note that you can do down to A, so you just open the G, close the G, tap. Open the G, close the G, tap. Same thing with a high A. You want to open the high A, thumb first, the other fingers follow behind, close the high A, thumb last, tap. Open the thumb, close, tap. If you're going to do it simultaneous, that's great too. In fact, that's better to do it simultaneous. But if you're going to have an order about it, it needs to be thumb first coming up, and then thumb last coming down. This is so that it sounds cleaner, so that the reed is hearing the high A first, and not that, but this, and then that. So we sound the high A, and then we close the high A and tap.